Hey, hello guys, welcome to the another lecture series on electric potential and capacitor. In the last video, we discussed about equipotential surface and also properties of equipotential surface, and we also derived the expression for or the relationship between electrical field and potential difference. All right. So in this video, we will discuss about potential on the surface of a charged concentric spherical shells and also the concept of earthing, and we will also discuss about the charge distribution on the surface of a spherical shell. Okay, so these are all very important concepts if you are in board, and for competitive exams no need to ask, at most important topic. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to discuss is about potential on the surface of a potential on the surface of a charged concentric spherical shells. All right, so now let us consider three spheres carrying charges, say q1, q2 and q3. Let me draw that. All right, so now here we have three spherical shells. Let us say the radius of the inner spherical shell is r1, and let us say it carries a charge of q1, and the radius of the second spherical shell, let us say it is r2, and it carries a charge of q2, and let us say the radius of the third spherical shell is r3 and it carries a charge of q3. And now we are interested to find out how much is the potential on each and every surface of a charged spherical shell, and we will also try to draw the graph of this. Okay, how the potential will vary as you move from the center outside these spherical shells. Okay, so we will also draw the graph for that. Now in the previous videos we discussed potential at a point outside the spherical shell, on the surface of the spherical shell, and inside the surface of a spherical shell. Okay, now the same thing we are going to apply here, same concept. Now if I want to know potential on the surface of the third sphere, okay, I am on the surface of the third sphere, so let us write the potential of the third sphere here. At this point, if I'm on the surface of the third sphere, then potential at that point due to the charge on the third sphere, is going to be kq3 divided by r3, right? Now at the same point, potential due to the charge on the second sphere. Now if I'm on the surface of the third sphere, I'm at what distance from the center of the second sphere? r3. Okay, so therefore the potential at this point due to the second sphere will be kq3 by r3. See, this point is outside the second sphere and also outside the first sphere, so potential everywhere outside is nothing but kq by r, we know that, and on the surface kq by the radius, capital R. So now since I am at a distance of r3 from the center of the first spherical shell and also the second spherical shell, the potential at this point due to the charges on the second and the first spherical shell will be kq3 by r3 plus kq1 by r3. So this is the potential on the surface of the third sphere. Okay, and now I want to know potential on the surface of the second sphere. So here the potential is v3, and here let us say the potential is v2. Now how am I going to find out the potential on the second sphere? See, if I am on the second sphere, obviously I am inside the third sphere, so everywhere inside the third sphere, due to the charge on the third sphere, potential will be same as the potential on the surface of the third sphere. Okay, so inside, that is on the surface of the second sphere, potential due to the charge on the third sphere is going to be kq3 by r3 itself, which is same as potential on the surface of the third sphere. Okay, now again, potential due to the second sphere on the surface of the second sphere will be kq2, the charge on the second sphere, divided by radius of the second sphere, r2, right? And now potential at this point is on the second sphere due to the charge on the first sphere. Now I am outside the first sphere, I am on the second sphere which is outside the first sphere, so therefore potential outside the first sphere due to the charge on the first sphere is going to be kq1 divided by the distance. The distance is nothing but r2. I am at a distance of r2, right, from the center, so kq1 by r2. So this is the potential of the second sphere. Now let us see what will be the potential of the first sphere. Okay, potential of the first sphere. So first sphere is this. Okay, and let us say potential there is V1, and how much will be that? Now if I'm at this point, if I'm on the first sphere, the innermost sphere, I'm obviously inside the third sphere and also inside the second sphere. So now potential at this point due to the third sphere will be same as potential on the surface of the third sphere, so kq3 by r3, plus potential at this point due to the second sphere will be same as potential on the surface of the second sphere. Why? This point is inside the second sphere. Potential everywhere inside due to the charge on the second sphere will be same as potential on the surface of the second sphere. So it is k q2 divided by r2. Okay, very important. Now I am on the inner sphere, and the potential due to the charge on the inner sphere is going to be kq1 divided by r1. Okay, so these are the potentials on the surface of these three charged bodies. Now if I'm inside, what will be the potential everywhere inside? Everywhere potential inside will be V1, because anyway I'm inside the moment if I move inside, I'm inside all the three spherical shells, and at this point the potential due to the outermost spell, the charge, outermost spherical shell carrying a charge q3 will be kq3 by r3, and at this point the potential due to the second spherical shell will be kq2 by kq2 by r2. Okay, and at this point the potential due to the charge on the innermost sphere is kq1 by r1, which is v1 itself. Like total, if you add all these things, it is v1. So potential everywhere inside the innermost spherical shell is v1 everywhere. All right, so this is how the potential on each spherical shells can be calculated. Now if I try to draw the graph of potential versus distance, okay, so let's see how the graph will look like. So I have taken potential along y-axis and the distance along x-axis. Okay, now if you are at the center, then potential everywhere inside up to the surface of the innermost sphere is v1. Okay, here small r is equal to r1, and at this point small r is equal to r2, and here small r is equal to r3, and everywhere inside the potential is going to be how much? V1 till r1. Okay, till you move from the center up to the r1, potential everywhere is v1 only. Okay, and now as you move out from the first sphere, the potential will start decreasing. Okay, and as you come on to the surface of the second sphere, there the potential will be v2. Why the potential will decrease? Okay, why the potential will decrease? You can see that if you are between the first sphere and the second sphere, as you come out of the first sphere, as you move outwards, this this r1 here, it will not be r1 anymore. This will start increasing, because as you move from the surface of the first sphere, innermost sphere, and as you go outwards, the r1, the distance of your your distance from the center of the first sphere is increasing continuously. You are still inside the second sphere and the third sphere, so therefore these two factors, these two terms, will remain the same, whereas this, instead of kq1 by r1, it will become kq1 by small r. The small r will be greater than capital R1, and that will be continuously increasing. Therefore the potential will keep on decreasing, and when you come on the surface of the second sphere, there the potential will be v2. That small r will become equal to r2 when you come to the surface of the second sphere. Okay, and now as you further move out from the second sphere, as you further move out, then the potential will again start decreasing. Because now you are moving out of the second sphere. As you move out of the second sphere, the potential due to second sphere also will start decreasing now. So this term, instead of r2 you will have r, and here also instead of r2 you will have r. Okay, and now as you come on the surface of the third sphere, there the potential will be how much? v3. There the potential will be v3. This is the potential on the surface of the third sphere. Okay, so there the potential will be v3. Okay, and then as you move outwards, the potential will again start decreasing. So this will start decreasing and it will reach to 0 at very far away distance. Okay, so this is how the potential will vary with the distance. All right, So now we'll get into concept of earthing. Concept of earthing. Concept of earthing. Now, whenever you connect a body to a ground, okay, whenever you connect a body to the ground, the potential of that body will become zero. Potential of that body will become zero because the potential of the earth to be taken as zero. Okay, we take the potential of the earth as zero because it's so huge. Adding some amount of charge to it or removing some amount of charge from it doesn't affect the potential of the earth. So we take that as a reference, and that is zero. Okay, so earth, remember, earth acts as a source of charge as well as sink of a charge. Source of a charge means what? You can take out as many electrons as you want from the earth, nothing will happen to the charge of the earth. Or if you want to dump electrons to it, you can keep on dumping it. That means it will act as a sink. Okay, nothing will happen to the charge of the electron. I'm sorry, nothing will happen to the charge of the earth. All right, so now we will write what is the earthing. Connecting a body to the ground is nothing but earthing. But what will happen when you connect a body to the ground? The potential of that body will become zero. Okay, upon connecting a body, conductor, it must be a conductor. If you connect an insulator to a earth, the charge from the insulator cannot go to the earth because the name itself says it's a insulator. Okay, so it will not allow the electrons to flow through it. So upon connecting a body, it must be a conductor, comma, the potential of the body will become zero. The potential of the body will be zero or will become zero. Okay, so in order to have a zero potential, or in order for the potential to become zero, the charge may either come from the ground to the body, or the charge from the body may go to the ground. Okay, so we will take a problem and try to understand what exactly will happen. Okay, so we will take sample problems. We will take sample problem. All right, so now I'm going to take a shell and a spherical shell. Let's say the radius of the spherical shell is r, and let's say this shell is carrying a charge of -2q, and inside the spherical shell I have kept a charge q, and now this spherical shell is going to be connected to the ground with a switch. Okay, is going to be connected to the ground with a switch. Now as you close the switch, the question is, as you close the switch, how much charge will flow from where to where? Okay, so that is the question. So we're going to write the question here. Find how much charge will go from where to where as the switch is closed. Okay, so this is the question. Now before closing the switch, the potential on the surface of the second sphere will be kq by r, k capital Q by r, plus k -2q divided by r, because if you are on the surface of the second sphere, at that point the potential due to the charge in the second sphere will be k into -2q by r, and due to the charge at the center, the potential at this point will be k capital Q by r. Okay, but moment you connect it to the ground, the potential of this sphere should become zero. Moment you connect it to the ground, potential of this sphere should become zero. So for that to happen, some amount of charge may go from ground to the body or from body to the ground. Okay, so that is what we are going to find out now. How much charge is going to go from where to where? Now we will make an assumption that, let us say, the charge x goes from ground to the sphere when switch is closed. Okay, as you close the switch, let us say x amount of charge goes from ground to the sphere. Now already how much is the charge that is present here? -2x. Along with that, if you add x amount of charge, then the total charge on the second sphere, the total charge on the surface of the spherical shell will become -2q plus x. Okay, so now let us write what is the potential. So potential will be how much? K capital Q by r, that is potential due to the charge inside it, plus potential on the surface of the sphere due to the charge on the sphere is going to be k into -2q plus x divided by r. Why k into minus 2q plus x? Because the total charge currently that is present on the surface of this sphere is minus 2q plus x, because x amount of charge has gone from the ground to the sphere. For the in order to make the potential of the sphere to be 0, x amount of charge has gone from the ground to the sphere. So that means now this potential has to be 0. Okay, this potential has to be 0 because we have connected to the ground, because of which x amount of charge has gone into the body, and that potential must be 0. Potential of that sphere must be 0. So I've equated it to 0, and that will be kq by r plus k into minus 2q plus x divided by r. Now here, since the denominator is same, you can take this r to LHS. LHS you have 0, 0 into r is 0. Then I will have just kq is equals to minus k into minus 2q plus x. So now kk will get cancelled here. We will get q equal to plus 2q minus x. So if you take x to LHS and the q to RHS, it will become q. So the charge that flows from the ground to the sphere is q, it seems. Okay, so that means then how much will be the total charge on the surface of the sphere, or the total charge in the sphere is going to be minus 2q plus x. X is what? Q. So minus 2q plus q will become what? Minus q. So that means initially the charge was minus 2q. Now after closing the switch, the charge on the sphere is becoming minus q. So where did minus q amount of charge go? That has gone to the ground. See, be very careful. Here x has become positive. X has become positive means what? Protons are being added to the sphere. Do you think protons can move? We cannot. Remember, you cannot charge a body by adding or removing protons, because protons are within the nucleus, right? So that means instead of proton going from ground to the sphere, you can say electrons have gone from the sphere to the ground. Electrons have gone from the sphere to the ground. Suppose if proton goes to the, assume like that, let us say the positive charge goes from the ground to the sphere, then sphere will acquire positive charge. Now to have the same positive charge, you can remove the electron from the sphere, right? So therefore we're going to say, since your q has x has turned out to be q, that is positive charge has gone from the, it shows that this equation, while solving this equation, I've got the x value as positive. That means electrons from the sphere have gone to the ground. Protons from the ground cannot go to the sphere, so you can say electrons from the ground has come to the sphere. So how much amount of charge? Minus q amount of charge has flown from sphere to the ground. So that is what we should understand here. So since x is positive, protons cannot flow from earth to sphere. So therefore minus q amount of charge goes from sphere to the ground. Okay, so that is the answer for our question. So from where to where the charge has gone, how much, and from where to where charge has gone. So charge is minus q amount of charge is going to go from sphere to the ground. So this is the answer for this question. Now I can also add one more question in this. Also find the charge distribution. Also find the charge distribution on the each surface of the shell. Also find the charge distribution on each side of the shell. Now this shell has how many surfaces? The inner surface and the outer surface. See, always remember, one simplest way to understand is, always remember, whatever charge that you have inside the shell, the same amount of charge but with opposite sign will get induced on the inner surface of this shell. Okay, on the inner surface of this shell, the charge that is going to be present is minus q. Now how much is the total charge on this? Minus q. So in that minus q, entire minus q is going to be present inside, and how much will be present outside? 0. Because from minus 2q, like initially the charge was minus 2q. How much charge has gone from the sphere to the ground now, minus q went out. So how much charge is present? Only q is present. Or remember like this, x is a charge that has gone from the ground to the sphere. So x is how much? Q. So minus 2q plus q if you take, then you will get it as minus q. Okay, so minus q is the total charge present on the surface of this shell, and since here I have plus charge inside the inside the shell, I have a plus q charge. The same amount of charge should be present on the inner surface with the opposite sign. So minus q will be present here. So as the charge minus q is present here, outside how much will be there? Total charge is minus q. In that, if you remove minus q of the charge which is present inside, then outside charge will become 0. So therefore, on the first surface, on the inner surface, the charge will be minus q, and the outer surface, the charge will be 0. So this is the charge distribution. Okay, so that's going to be the charge distribution. So I can write minus q is going to get induced. Okay, minus q amount of charge will be present on the inner surface of this shell, and on the outer surface the charge is going to be 0. Okay, 0 amount of charge. All right, now the same topic is applicable here also. Suppose if I ask how much is the charge on the each surface of on the each side of these spherical shells. Let us say this is the first surface, second surface, third surface, fourth surface, fifth surface, and sixth surface. Okay, on each surface, if you want to know how much is the charge that's going to be present, I may write it like this. The charge on the first surface is going to be 0 because no charge is present inside the first sphere. Okay, innermost sphere. If you take the innermost sphere, there is no charge present inside it. So there will be no charge present. There will be no induced charge on the inner surface of this innermost sphere. But whatever charge that is present on the surface of the innermost sphere will be present only on the surface of the external surface, because since there is no charge inside, all the charge on the inner sphere will be present on the outer surface. So therefore the charge present on the second surface, I'll write it as just second surface, will be q1. The charge present on the second surface will be what? Q1. Then how much charge will be present on the third surface? Third surface is just facing the second surface. So therefore the charge on the third surface should be same as the charge on the second surface, but with opposite sign. So charge on the third surface will be what now? Minus q1, because charge on the second surface is q1. Therefore charge on the third surface will be minus q1. Alright, so how much will be the charge that's going to be present on the fourth surface? If you look at the fourth surface, the charge on the second spherical shell is q2. In that, minus q1 is present on the inner surface. So therefore how much will be present on the outer surface, or how much will be the remaining charge from q2? Minus q1 is already present on the inner surface of the second shell. So therefore the remaining charge will be q2 minus of the charge that is present on the inner surface of the second shell, that is the third surface, is minus q1, right? So therefore the charge on the fourth surface will be q2 plus q1. Alright, now let us see how much will be the charge on the fifth surface. Don't you see that the fifth surface is facing the fourth surface? The fifth surface is facing the fourth surface. So therefore charge on the fifth surface should be same as what? Charge on the fourth surface, but with opposite sign. So minus q1 plus q2. Then how much will be the charge on the sixth surface? The total charge present on the third spherical shell is q3. Okay, in that you have to remove minus of q1 plus q2, because minus of q1 plus q2 is present on the inner surface of the third shell. The total from the total charge q3, if minus of q1 plus q2 is present on the inner surface, then the remaining charge should be present outside. So that is going to be q2 minus of minus q1 plus q2, which is this minus q1 plus q2 is present on the inner surface of the third shell. Okay, so therefore the total charge that's present on the outer surface of the third shell is going to be, this is actually q3 here, yeah, q3 plus q1 plus q2. Okay, so this will be the charge that's going to be present on the sixth surface, that is the outer spherical shell, outer surface of the third spherical shell. Okay, so these concepts are very important. Okay, so with this we complete the potential part. So in the next video we will start taking capacitor part. Till then, stay tuned, have a happy learning. Thank you all, bye bye.